guys. We're looking at Geeks, I think is what the name is. Whew. USA. America? I think we're at the bottom. United States, there we go. Recommendation using terminal-based interface. America. Let's do Chicago. English, US, Australian, gross. Please choose variant for keyword English, US. This seems like a interesting. We're just gonna do Geeks as the host name. Waiting for technology wired for internet access. By turning this substitute server discovery, by turning this option on, you allow Geeks to fetch substitutes pre-built binaries during the installation from server discovered on your local area network LAN. In addition to the official server, this can increase download throughput. There is no security risk. Only general substitutes may be retrieved from those servers. However, eavesdroppers on your LAN may be able to see what software you're installing. We'll enable this because I have a super hidden secure layer 3 VPN. Please add at least one user to the system. Real name, Big Balls. So we'll call it Big Balls, home Big Balls. Password. You know what? I kind of like this install versus the Calamares, the really nice, pretty graphical user interface. So please select a desktop environment you wish to install. If you select multiple desktop environments here, you will be able to choose from them later when you log in. Okay, I need to think about this. So my goal is to essentially run the most on my laptop for about 30 days. I'm going to run the freest operating system that I possibly can. I want to live by the GNU the GNU standards is what I would say, and see how it works out. Now, let's go here. Let's see if this works now. I want to live just like Richard Stallman. GNU approved desktop. Okay. Is not currently applicable as GNOME, which is historically an official GNU project, is no longer considered part of the GNU project. Publicly stated that GNOME was not GNU project and confirmed that GNOME has been removed from the GNU project software development. Although, while GNOME was once officially the GNU project, the GNOME stands for GNU, and there is Mate, which is continuation of GNOME 2. Cinnamon, which responds to GNOME's 3 changes, not officially started with the GNU either. Therefore, there is no desktop environment currently approved by the GNU project. Wow. Interesting. The Free Software Foundation does not maintain a separate list of approved desktop environments. Instead, it certifies entire Linux distributions adhere to the GNU Free System Distribution, which required all software, including desktop environments, to be free and open source. The desktop environment which used with the FSS approved distribution typically choose for their compliance with these principles. The most commonly used desktop environment for SFS approved distributions, including GNOME and KDE Plasma. GNOME is highlighted as a key component of distributions like PureOS and Transquil, and is KDE developed by the GNOME community under the free software license. KDE Plasma is featured in the Dynabolic, which is based on Debian and designed for multimedia production. Other desktop environments found in the FS approved system: XFCE, IceWM, and Trinity Desktop environment, which are used for distributions like Dragora and Parabola. It's interesting. That is a thought. They'll trip about operating systems, but they'll be like, sorry guys, no Rust, but the DE, which is kind of like your, I don't know. I could use GNOME. XFCE is out of the question because it's gay. OpenBox, never used it. Awesome. Never used it. i3, never used it. Rat Poison, never used it. Emacs, EXWM, which probably would be the freest of them all, since it's Emacs. Emacs, EXWM. EWM. This means on my laptop I cannot use JavaScript because JavaScript is gross. I've never used actually a window manager beyond a few. Like, I did not like them. I don't care about ricing that much. What is... Because I don't care about configuring my fucking window manager. You know, I barely spent any time in it besides the terminal. The terminal is my window manager. i3, some people like i3. i3 looks okay. Actually, I used I used a window manager more on. I used a window manager more on. What do you call it? My phone. I had the Pine phone. I used, what was it? There was a window manager on the Pine phone I could use when I was using OpenSUSE. Unironically, the first time I've ever touched OpenSUSE was on the Pine phone, which is kind of funny. I wish I could do a live poll that would matter. Let's see. And then... I'm just looking at how they all look. Interesting. There's I didn't like Mate. Enlightenment. Never. OpenBox. Rat Poison sounds kind of cool. Oh man, this one's hard. Let's see what it looks like. Rat Poison is a Italian window manager for X Windows systems, primarily developed by Sean Betts, designed to manage graphical windows without relying on a mouse. Oh, God. Key bindings are fucking gay, though. Like, I do not care about using key bindings. People are like, it's more efficient, but I don't care. In all honesty. Kernel... What's... Metris Linux, a hardened kernel. OpenBox. GNOME is kind of like the one that I use the most. Or let's look at what OpenBox looks like. OpenBox Open box looks kind of nice. Yo, where is it? Open. It looks like an old early 2000s. Okay, I kind of like open box. It looks like an early 2000s. Something. We'll do open box. That's kind of cool. I can always switch it. Okay. You can now select networking services to run on your system. Definitely open SSH to our anonymous network. Mozilla NS certificates for HTTP access, I guess. No printering. Printering is proprietary. Please set a partition using the entire disk with encryption. Yeah, we should always encrypt everything. 21 gigs. GTP. This will create a new GTP partition. All data will be lost. Continue. Everything is one partition. Separate home partition. No. Local. English. United States. I think I fucked up. Time zone. Yeah, oopsies, we'll do hostname geeks. We are not a process with the installation. A system's configuration file will be generated to display on it. This is upgraded and configured generated by the graphical installer. Once installed complete, you can learn among the tweak the system. Yeah. Let's see. All right, based. Okay, cool. Okay, whatever. It's not letting me do anything with that. Huh, interesting. Man, this is taking a minute to download. Ooh. Let's see. Wow, it's kind of cool. It's gonna pretty much copy everything and then maybe it'll work. God, paywalls are fucking cancer. I hate paywalls with a dying passion. Oh, 12-foot ladder's back? Thank God. I fucking hate. No! We built. Oh. Nice. Maybe it'll run. Congratulations, your installation is not complete. You may remove the device containing the installation image and press reboot. No sender credentials received. Message ignored. Nice. Based. Please work. Don't do anything gay. What? Hell yeah, big balls. Hell yeah. Not working. Nice. No desktop environment. It might just be a mistake. Hmm. The fuck? Oh. Hmm. Hmm. Install Alpine? Yeah, we should. Let's do that. For some reason, after all that, Geeks didn't fucking work, which is kind of weird. Even though Alpine is not FOSS. Alpine Linux. That looks stable. Ooh. summary. Slug. Alpine Linux can be installed in these three modes: diskless mode, data disk mode, and system disk mode. The first installations mode are sometimes referred to as collectively run from RAM installations, so it requires a basic understanding of the three proof below. Interesting, okay. There we go. Standard, extended, and netboot. Raspberry. Virtual. Similar to standard, slimmed down kernel optimized for virtual systems. Mini root file system. Minimal root file system for user containers. Extended. Alpine was intended for just enough to get you started. Network connections. Most common use packages include sudo routers for service runs from RAM, including AMD and netboot. Who? Most common use packages suited for router servers runs for RAM includes AMD Intel micro updates, kernel infotrunes, and mode loop for netboot. First gen pies including 0W, similar to standard slimmed down kernel optimized for virtual systems. Okay, we're gonna do. We're gonna go to vert. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. There we go. Alpine Standard. Generic Linux. More than enough. More than enough. OpenRC. Based. Welcome to Alpine Linux. What up, Billy? Is it possible to install Graphene OS on a Pixel 10? As far as I know right now, I don't know if it is possible. I did hear that they finally got the new port. I will be once I get confirmation that it's somewhat stable and possible to install it, I will do like an installation and give my feedback. But I think they did say that your best option right now is to actually just get the 9, and because there's not a huge, you're not going to see a huge increase of security. There was like talk of that it was the Pixel 10 was going to support memory tagging at the hardware level, but I don't know. In my opinion, I don't know if that's worth it to even care about. It is a nice feature, and it is something to think about, but if your goal is just to have a secure operating system on your phone, then your best option is going with the 9A. Or if you can, do the 9A because you're going to get the most value for updates if you don't care about the size. Or just do the regular 9. It is, Google's state of affairs is pretty abysmal right now, but I think people are. I mean, nothing's concrete, so I think people are thinking a little too much about it. Just gonna get rid of that. Okay, so OpenRC, and we are in the weeds of Alpine Linux. Now we're gonna go to the install guide. Verifying the download, did that. I didn't. Primary installation media. Got their installation of the boot process. Set up Alpine keyboard. The setup Alpine scripts offers the following configuration options. So, oh yeah, what is the local login? Is the root user initially? Root has no password, so I should be able to do this. There we go. Let's do a clear. Select keyboard layout. English, please. US. That's pretty simple. Select keyboard layout. Just, I think US. Normal is good. Caching service dependencies. That's cool. Enter system host names fully qualified from e.g. foot example. How about foot.local. Available interfaces, ethos. Which one are you going to install or done? Enter, okay, which one do you want to initialize, or question, or done? ETH0, is that what I want to do? IP address for ETH0, DHCP. Do you want any manual network configured? No, not really. If you think about it, virtualization is such a cool concept. Alpine more based, more like based out BSD Alpine Signal Enlightenment. Did you end up doing some kernel shit with Gen 2 and BSD? Remember, guys, every time a minute in Africa passes, 60 seconds passes. Which time zone are you in? America. Chicago. Which sub time zone America are you in? Chicago. Sending. Oh, HTTP proxy URL. None. I think. Find and use the fastest mirror. Use a random mirror. Show the mirror list. I think F is good. Damn, why is everything in the U? Couldn't find out how to launch init from the FreeBSD kernel. It's always init problem. If you think about it, you should actually try to make your own init system in order to compete against the non-free init systems. The proprietary and constraints of inits should be free everywhere. This would signify your based perspective. There we go. What the fuck was that? Okay. So we are going to be installing some mirror stuff. OpenRC is FOSS. Is OpenRC? So that's a good question. Is OpenRC FOSS? Is it GNU approved? Yes, OpenRC is a free and open source software. It is released under the simplified BSD license. So the problem is under according to our Lord and Savior, the GNU Foundation, the term FS is system may refer to various and associated with the Free Software Foundation or related projects, though the Free Software Foundation in itself does not directly develop the init system. However, several init system related tools are documented in the Free Software Foundation resources. OpenRC is a dependency-based init system that provides support for system V init booting, changing run levels, starting, stopping services, and shutting down. Originally developed as a Gen 2 project, OpenRC, the Gen 2 init scripts and aimed to be a platform agnostic, supporting architecture init system used in Debian. Boo! It's licensed under the BSD2 clause license. Another related tool is Live Config, which contains components to configure a live system during the boot process. The init system helpers, additionally, recent Debian bug. Boo, Debian. The problem is the GNU Software Foundation. They do have an extreme setup user long tail yes user lowercase Login name or no? I was discussing this earlier with the desktop environment. They don't really have like a preferred option. They're which is kind of weird. They don't. I think GNOME was like their. What's the most free option? OpenSSH or Dropbear? Which disk would you like to use? See ya later. Would you like to use it? It says data. Crypt LVM for help. Huh, okay. Installation. Keyboard, network, DNS servers, setup, NTP, SSH, disk mode. A pre-setup of the diskless system to be completely answered none when asked for the following questions. Which disk would you like to use? And then, okay. How would you like to... If sys is chosen, the setup Alpine script will be complete the traditional hard disk installation of Alpine Linux on the chosen disk without further question. Once the installation is complete, you can skip the reboot the person. Okay, I can just pick sys. Enter the above disk and continue. Oh, yes. Installation complete. Please reboot. Reboot. Custom installation on a headless host. Kernels. Direct booting on so Alpine Linux in root. Guide to the Okay, we do have internet connection. Cool. Install the appropriate graphic drivers for your hardware. Without graphic drivers, your errors are likely to return. Okay. For Intel video chips, for AMD chipsets, for NVIDIA, see NVIDIA video. Actually, it'll be Intel, but oh, it's MIT. Nice. The open source driver for NVIDIA GPU is supported as the proprietary is not. Okay, Wayland. Hmm. Ooh. Okay. Currently, Novu is the open source Java supported as the property name is not available for the Musil. Oh wow, interesting. I do have Intel. The Misa drill. Interesting. That's kind of. Let's see. Account with appropriate groups. Desktop use the community processing enabled. You can support it either manually or using the desktop script. Whoa, let's do GNOME. Warning comes already starting. Failed to open APD. Permission died. Oh, it's a do as. No sudo. Interesting. Wow, didn't know that do as was used. Based, actually. And cool. Based and cool. We'll be getting into after this we'll be reading. Service added level. Okay. Once you have chosen the desktop script, it's on a Firefox browser adds necessary service. The system will boot into a graphical login screen. Interesting, it does not. After a reboot. Okay. Yep. You always got to reboot. Nice. It's live. We're gonna do that. So that's pretty much how you sound Alpine. It's got this. It's got, you know, obviously the utilities, fonts. Let's do terminal. NeoFetch. Do as, what is the package manager of this? Wayland based. DNS time zone proxy. APK. Is it APK? This APK has coffee making abilities. Is it install? No, it's just repositories. Bootable XR users, desk environment, LVM. Oh, it is the APK. Do as APK fast fetch. Oh. Add. It's add. Sorry. Bad Linux brain working overtime. Wow, that was quick. That was a quick install. Based, actually. Look at that. Alpine, 745 APKs. Window Manager, Mutter, Wayland, based. Terminal font, local IP, locale C. Awaiting SANs. Nice. Let's do as APK add btop. Use UT4's argument if you're sure your terminal can handle it. UTF force. Oh, nice. And it can. It can handle it. This is what hackers look like. If you're a true hacker, you should be on your screen at all times. CPU Ryzen, 4 gigs. Total RAM 3 gigs. 1 gig used. Not bad. Available 2.83. Cached free. About 2 gigs free. It's not bad for a desktop environment. I mean, Alpine's supposed to be lightweight and secure. That is the purpose. It's. Let's see if we can watch a video. I honestly don't know. We got Firefox pre-installed, unfortunately. Let's go to YouTube. Let's look up the video. No music, because music is always going to get copyright strict. I mean, anything is. Let's look up mental hour. Audio is probably not working. China is forcing me to watch ads for free. What a funny.
Most of the time that I talk to you guys about the cyberpunk dystopia in the US and the EU. What I'm really talking about is how technology is being used to violate basic human rights like free speech and privacy.
What an absolute funny way to position that title, though. China is forcing people to watch ads for free toilet paper is kind of a funny. See, this is 6D tier. I wonder if I could get another virtual machine in here and watch this video. Is VirtualBox? It's not here. So we only got 3 gigs of RAM. How would I do this? What is the lightest? Do as APK add GNOME boxes. See, we need to do a 4D chess move. Huh? This is, we're going to download an operating system. Ooh, Fedora, that's kind of heavy. Let's do OpenSUSE. OpenSUSE 15. OpenSUSE DVD. Or will it download? Will the virtual machine inside the virtual machine have enough power? We'll wait. While we wait, I'm going to go get some water. Nice. Okay. Just remember, guys, if you ever feel retarded, somebody bought this. $230 for a sock to carry your phone. Your new iPhone. The iPhone Pocket is a limited edition release. This short strap design is available in lemon, mandarin, mandarin, purple, pink, peacock, sapphire, cinnamon, and black. The long strap design is available in sapphire, cinnamon, and black. iPhone Pocket in the short strap design is retailed at $149.95, and the long strap is $230. You got to be sucking my fucking balls to think that that is ever a good idea. This is just showing that Apple people will buy anything. Ooh, download complete. Install. Is there enough memory? Allow animation shortcuts. Deny. Delete. Okay. Can it use Ubuntu 24? just might be not enough. We're gonna delete. Maybe Fedora. Unable to open domain not found domain. Okay. Come on. Maybe TinyCore. See, this is what I need to do. I need to think deep and big. We're gonna do TinyCore Linux download. This is where the brain needs to use a couple extra core pure latest build. Core pure 16 TinyCore pure 16.2 ISO. Yeah, this is where you got to use your huge noggin. You got to use. This is how you become unhackable. Is, you know what's funny? Boxes never works for me. I always have issues with it. We're gonna install ISO. I think it's just based off Linux. Generic. Okay, no. This should be, you could honestly get away with 2 gigs, right? Is it BIOS or UEFI? Okay. Hell yeah. All right, this brain's huge. Now I'm in a system within a system within a system. Run program, terminal. Where's the web? Browse. Browse, right? Nope. Cancel. Exit. Control panel. Apps. There we go. First one, would you like the system to pick the fastest mirror? Yes. See, the fucking screen, the fucking cursor's all fucking weird. The fastest mirror was distrolib. Okay. Apps. Browse. Is Firefox available? Yep, Firefox, baby. Can we get Firefox working? Huh? This is awesome. And I cancel that. No. TinyCore is kind of based. It's very, reminds me of very old Windows. Well, clearly I'm connected to the internet inside a virtual machine. This, like I said, this is peak. Okay. Web browse. There you are. All right, we're on Firefox. And it's got YouTube for us, so I got to figure out which one's my real cursor. But does sound work? Of course it's going to work, right? You know what's funny too is, whoa, different thumbnail. Oh, this is going to be laggy. Okay, sound's not working. There might be a reason for this. Maybe it's a pulse audio thing. Limitations. Okay, spacebar works. Multi-tool, run program, terminal, control panel. Let's see. Sound is not built in base, core plus, microcore, tiny core. Sound is implemented via extensions. If you need Skype, if you need to change sound device, policy all front end. So if you need to change sound, if you need easier sound, pulse audio. If you'd like the command. Okay, so let's do command panel. Getting this cursor to work is nightmare. There we go. Okay, so if we go to run program, we're gonna browse. We're gonna look. So hard. Exit, editor, apps. There we go. We're gonna look for pulse. Pulse audio. No. Libre Pulse. Pulse audio. There we go. Man, I felt like I was having like brain damage. So I'm like, why can't I figure this? Like, where the fuck this is it? Where the fuck is it? Okay, Pulse audio. Ooh. Sound. Okay. I don't know which one's real. Okay. Control panel. Damn. Okay, we're just gonna watch it in a normal. At some point. I was deep in the virtual machine. Okay, we're gonna go back to where we were. There's probably a way to do it too, or maybe don't make tiny core. But I was like, I'm limited on resources. Contacted by the U.S. Secret. Okay.
The vast majority of the world.
This does work.
Most of the time that I talk to you guys about the ever-growing the EU, but I'm really talking privacy. But if we want to see how bad things can really get, we've got to go look at China, where basic human rights have always been optional. So there's these viral videos going around of Chinese public restrooms that have monetized toilet paper dispensers installed in them. So when you use one of these bathrooms and go to get some toilet paper to clean yourself up, there's a QR code on the side.
Yeah, I just had diarrhea. 5 more ads and I'm done. Hear me out. Buy now, pay later toilet paper in 4 easy installments. Taking shittification to a whole new level. What a shitty situation. The worst thing is not paying. It's mandating that you always have a phone on you. Pay to poop is crazy. Bringing your own toilet paper. That's psychological warfare at this point. If someone makes me pay for toilet paper at a public restroom, I'm shitting on the floor. My rentoids are gonna love this. Ad block everything. I love how he explains whole 20 seconds why you should clean your ass. The only reason this works is because most public restrooms in China never provided TP to begin with. It's always expected you had tissue on you. However, basically everything came with tissues. You could get them for free as handouts after a meal. Complimentary when buying a product. Someone entrepreneurial probably just took a vacation to Western country, got inspired, and had their own "we could bottle water and sell it" moment. Did not know that about China. They imagine you just buying stuff and they're like, "Here's your toilet paper. Idiocracy was a prophecy. Everything is an ad. This comment is brought to you by Fuck It Toll, the medication that helps you forget why your name is Old Skid Mark, and ask your doctor if Fuck It Toll is right for you. Do not take Fuck It Toll if... No, just take it. True. Sorry, boss. My phone died while watching ads, so I had to wait for things to get crusty. Jesus Christ.
Evidence dispenser that you have to scan, which takes you to a website that tells you to either pay 0.5 won, which is about 7 cents per strip of toilet paper.
Jesus Christ.
Or you can watch a 30-second video to get your portion of toilet paper for free. So it's a really crappy situation for the users, obviously, but the advertisers love it because they have a captive audience for their ads. You're gonna watch the ad because what else do you have to look at? The tile pattern on the floor or on the side of the wall, and let's be real, for most of the people who are suffering from brain rot, that tile pattern is not going to be entertaining enough.
True. That tile pattern is not going to hit the stimmy button. Imagine, like, you just as a tourist, you come in and you're like, I must shit today. This is my solution. I mean, I really hate ads, so I would be shitting and farting all the time. Like, in my house, I would never leave. How would you install an ad blocker to block this? That's the real question.
To consume the ad and then probably also consume the product. And there's no way of you really opting out of the monetized toilet paper dispenser because once you've done the deed, you need to wipe your ass. Like, maybe you could go full Joker mode and just decide you're not going to wipe your ass, but keep
That'd
in
be funny.
mind you're using a public bathroom, and so not wiping your ass is probably going to throw some major complications.
Hmm.
Into the rest of your day, because maybe you were planning on spending your entire day at the mall with some friends, maybe go eat some greasy food for lunch and get some boba tea, maybe go to one of the clothing stores and buy yourself some new clothes. But now you're sitting here in the bathroom with the dirty bugs, planning out your Valinor. And God forbid that you're one of these people who's trying to go out into the world without a phone so that you can cure your brain rot. You're trying to go touch the grass and have some social interaction stuff, staring at a screen like 99% of today's youth. Well, unfortunately, your radical approach to curing your brain rot is not going to be compatible with having a clean ass in China. Now, maybe you can do the old foot tap thing if you're, without a phone, or maybe you have a phone and it's dead, right? There's all kinds of situations where maybe you're not going to be able to get toilet paper. So you do the old foot tap to ask the person next to you install some TV, but that's a much bigger ask because now they're going to have to either pay for it or watch a 30-second ad to get that toilet paper.
Imagine the economy based on ads and shitting and farting. You should actually see if you could trade Monero for shitting and farting. Toilet paper is going to be the new economy. If you guys remember COVID, YouTube's going to demonetize this now. If you guys remember, look. If you guys remember COVID, like people were like rushing for fucking toilet paper. It was like pretty much out everywhere you went. After that, I was like, toilet paper's gold. I need to buy some. Like ahead of time. Not to resell it or anything. I just need to buy some ahead. I just need to have just enough toilet paper for shitting and farting and thinking ahead of time. I think we're going to hit an era where toilet paper is going to be stuff you need when society collapses, or this is more important than gold by insert shitty fucking blog talking about financing here.
For you, and that portion might also not be enough. Maybe you just happen to be the only person in the stall, in the whole bathroom by yourself, and you don't have a phone, or your phone is not charged, so how long are you going to sit there in your own filth until you finally get desperate and wipe yourself with sock? Now, you might be wondering if there's any real justification for China having monetized toilet paper dispensers other than them just further turning themselves into a cyberpunk episode of Black Mirror. But there actually is. There actually is a justification for this. The smart toilet paper dispensers are actually part of the broader social credit system that China has been developing to curtail bad behavior amongst its citizens. So in case you didn't know, several decades ago, China decided to start doing communism. And in typical fashion, millions of people starved and went without basic necessities for a very long time. And when you spend most of your life, especially your developmental years, in extreme scarcity, you tend to get that scarcity mentality imprinted on you, and you keep it with you even when you're no longer living in that same scarce situation. Like to this day, I still have a habit of cutting open tubes of toothpaste and bottles of lotion when I can't squeeze any more out, just to get the last little bit on myself and use it. Like I also put water in my shampoo bottles and shake it up so I can use it 2 or 3 more times before I throw the container.
What a hood classic thing to do. Truly based to not waste anything.
I really don't need to do that anymore. It's just this old habit that I have back when I was broke, and it was a thing I did out of necessity. So, old habits die hard, as they always say.
But that's not even like a bad habit to have.
But because older Chinese people face this level of poverty that you and I have probably never, ever dealt with or ever will, they have that same scarcity mentality, but it's dialed up to 11. And you can find plenty of videos online of older people, usually it's older Chinese people, taking massive amounts of toilet paper or paper towels that are in a place for free. I mean, they're literally just rolling it off the roll and stuffing it in their pockets or their purse, and they're doing it so that they can take it home to use it because of the old scarcity mentality. And obviously, just because this toilet paper is free to the public doesn't mean that it doesn't cost anybody money. Somebody's obviously paying for this and had to come up with a way to curtail this bad behavior, and so the way they've done it is with monetized toilet paper dispensers. Shoes, because your bathroom patrons, I mean, they can be wiping with anything if they're bringing in their own toilet paper.
True.
The 1 atom thick tissue that's usually in public restrooms is pretty good at not clogging pipes, but the so-called flushable wet wipes that come in convenient portable packages, so that.
By the way, like one ply toilet paper is a fucking crime. They should just. I thought China had debats. I thought they most of the rest of the world was modernized. We're debats. Badettes? No, sorry, badettes. Badettes are common in Europe, especially Italy, France, and Spain, East and South Asia, particularly in Japan and South Korea, and parts of the Middle East. So apparently China has not joined the bidet. The bidet. So we're gonna kill this. We're gonna kill this VM. Power up. Actually, let's do this. Because we're already here. Monero. 0 to Monero. GitHub. No. Here's the fork. Here's the PDF link. Dark mode? Ooh. Search. That's cool. Oh. No dark mode. Whatever. Close enough where my eyes are not burning. Let's go to chapter 7. There we go. Okay. Chapter 7. The Monero blockchain reward penalty. Nope. This is a part that's kind of interesting. Okay, we talked about the proof of work. We talked about the proof of work, and the money supply is something that we need to kind of go over. There are two basic mechanisms for creating money in the blockchain cryptocurrency. First, the currency's creator can conjure coins and distribute them people in the Genesis message. This is often called an airdrop. Sometimes creator gives themselves a large amount in the so-called pre-mine. Second, the currency can be automatically distributed as a reward for mining blocks, much like mining for gold. There are two types here. In the Bitcoin model, the total possible supply is capped. Block rewards slowly decline to zero, after which there is no more money ever created. In the inflation model, supply increases indefinitely. Monero is based on a currency known as Bitcoin that has sizable pre-mined followed by a block reward. Monero had no pre-mine, as well as we'll see. Its blocks rewards slowly decline to a small amount, after which all new blocks rewards will be the same amount, making Monero inflationary. This is kind of how I look at it for supply and demand principle. If you have an asset that has a finite supply, meaning it's going to be mined completely into all of the existence of mine has an end date, it kind of creates not really a currency, but a scarcity tactic. And that scarcity tactic can fluctuate with time. It can become good. It can become bad. Just because it's rare doesn't mean that it's sought after. It has to have a utility. If the utility goes away, the rarity isn't necessarily there anymore. I mean, there are probably very many rare minerals out there and rare stuff that exist in society, but if it has little to no utility, it doesn't mean that it is a good value, store value, or an asset. I mean, there's probably a rare mineral out there that people have come across, and they're like, oh, that doesn't really matter. This rarity is essentially pointless because it is a pointless mineral or maybe a pointless product. Just food for thought, because people always hear rarity and they're like, well, that means it has value. Rarity and value don't always correlate together. Again, also, too, to think about economy-wise, if Bitcoin's circulation goes into the hoarding aspect, where it's becoming a hoarded item, then Bitcoin's value can also become unattainable and lose its core functionality, which is supposed to be decentralization. Monero having the ability to have a quote unquote infinite supply with tail emissions where the block rewards slowly decline to zero after with no more money ever made in the infinite model supply with Bitcoin. Monero is based on a currency known as Bitcoin that had sizable pre-mine. Monero has no pre-mine, and as we'll see it, block rewards slowly decline to a small amount, after which all new blocks will be the same amount, making Monero inflationary. And we're gonna touch on this. We're gonna go over it. Monero is technically an inflationary currency because it has no hard maximum, supply cap and new coins are generated continuously through a process called tail emissions. However, this inflationary rate is very low and designed to decrease over time as the percentage of total supply, making it a disinflationary currency. How the Monero supply works: no cap, maximum cap. Unlike Bitcoin is fixed to 21 million coins, Monero has no such limit. Tail emissions: after the initial supply, approximately 18.4 million XMR was mined, reaching around 2022. A permanent block reward of 0.6 Monero per block, or 3 XMR per minute, began. Low, decreasing inflation rates. The fixed amount of new XMR constitutes an inflation rate. In the first year of tail emissions, it roughly was 1% of the total supply. As the total number of circulating coins increase over time, while the emission rate remained consistent, this percentage inflation rate will continue to trend towards zero, meaning the rate of inflation is always decreasing. Network security incentive. The primary reason for the tail emission is to provide a permanent, sustainable incentive for miners to secure the network, even when distant future, without relying solely on potentially volatile transaction fees. This is another thing to remember. Miners are kind of, they also help with like validating, but that is something that we have to dig a little bit deeper in. One of Monero's biggest concerns is the 51% attack, where it could get taken over by the 51%. It can get over the 51%. This is just going to explain it easier. There's so much information about the blockchain that you have to remember that it's not something that you're ever going to retain all of. If you ask a lot of Bitcoin people, even like they're like, "What's a 50% one attack?" They might not even be able to tell you. An attack on a cryptocurrency blockchain were by a group of miners who control more than 50% of the total network's mining hash rate. A 51% attack occurs when the entity gains control over more than 50% of a blockchain's network hashing power, enabling the alteration of transactions and creating the risk of double spending. While challenging and costly, such as attacks primarily threaten smaller networks, explore the mechanics example associated with. 51% attacks when it occurs when the entity controls more than half of the blockchain's computing power, potentially altering transactions and blocking new ones. This is what Qubit, the retards that were doing that Ponzi, that fucking shit show, essentially we're trying to do. Despite the high cost and difficulty executing a 51% attack, cloud services allow attackers to rent necessary computing power, increasing vulnerability. Large networks like Bitcoin and Ethereum are more secure against a 51% attack due to their size and complexity. If successful, 51% attack allows for double spending and denial of service, but requires a precise timing and significant research execution because, again, Bitcoin's so huge. Inflation versus deflation. Some community members argue that in practice, the real-world inflation may be effectively zero or negative due to the percentage of coins being permanently lost each year. Forgotten passwords, lost private keys, the rate of coin loss could eventually equal to the rate of a new coin creation, creating a dynamic equilibrium in the circulating supply. Tail emissions is pretty much as doing a permanent block reward. And they're right, people lose coins, people lose access to wallets, people lose access to their, it gets delisted. A lot of things go into Monero's thought. If Monero gets delisted, this makes it harder to, yes, obtain, so it might increase the interest in why is it getting delisted. With the advancement of the central bank digital currency, CBDCs, it's kind of concerning that we are running into a global organization of maybe powerful politicians, powerful organizations that want to be able to spy on your financial transactions. This might move more people to Monero, thus decreasing the supply because more people are maybe obtaining and hoarding it. Even though that's probably less the case versus like Bitcoin, more people probably spend Monero, use it as a utility than Bitcoin. People spend Bitcoin and use Bitcoin as a utility. There might be some edge cases, but I would have to look at the actual data. Not really important. for right now. Something that I might dig deep in later. Don't stab the space bell. Hmm. Hmm. That's kind of cool. Okay. But NRAM. Block reward. Block miners before mining a mining for a nodes make a miner transaction with no inputs and at least one output. The total output amount is equal to the block reward, plus transaction fees from all the transactions to be included in the block. This is communicated in clear text. Nodes who receive a mine block must verify the block reward is correct and can calculate the current money supply by summoning all the past block rewards together. Besides distributing money, block rewards incentivize mining. If there were no block rewards and no other mechanism, why would anyone mine new blocks? This is true. Perhaps altruism or curiosity, however few miners make it easy for a malicious actor to assemble the 51% attack, the 50% one attack for the network's hash rate, and easily rewrite recent chain history. This also why Monero block rewards do not fall all the way to zero. And I agree that there probably are some things out there that people do truly altruistically. I mean, look at Tor nodes. Tor relays, guard relays, and nodes are all generally community ran. This is completely freely done. People don't do it for money. Well, at least as far as I know. There might be some that charge. Nostr relays are mainly free because people care about censorship resistance. A lot of PeerTube servers are free because people care, again, about having an alternative option that's privacy respecting. And all these things do cost money. So that is something to keep in mind. If these things cost money, then essentially, like, what's the purpose of people running these? Well, I think there is some form of altruism involved in it, but this probably prevents people that are renting high-end equipment to do this mining in order to maybe offset a small part of the cost. I gotta get more water. Came back. You could even go as far as saying that, like, beyond the altruism of altruistic ideology and the money, some people just like to tinker. Some people don't like have a reason behind they do stuff. They just do it. There's probably a percentage that do that. With block rewards, competition between the miners drives total hash rate up until the marginal cost of adding more hash rate is higher than the marginal rate of obtaining the proportion mined blocks. This is which appears at a constant rate. Plus some premiums like risk and opportunity costs. This means as a cryptocurrency becomes more valuable, its total hash rate will increase and become aggressively more difficult and expensive to gather the 51%. A miner transaction can have any number of outputs, although currently the core implementation is only able to make one. Moreover, unlike normal transactions, there are no explicit restrictions on miner transactions' weight. They are functionally limited by the maximum block weight. As an attacker gets higher shares of the hash rate, beyond 50%, 1%, it takes less time to rewrite older and older blocks. Given a block X days old owned hash speed V and honest hash speed VH V less than VH will take Y equals R times VH Y equals VH days to rewrite. Byte shifting. Byte shifting is used for calculating the base block reward as well as we will see in section 733. The actual block reward can sometimes be reduced below the base amount. Suppose we have an integer a equals 13 bit representation 1101. If we shift the bits of a down to by 2 using the bitwise shift right operator, denote a less than 2, we get 0011.01, which equals to 3.25. In reality, the last into oblivion, leaving us with 0011 equals 3. Let's call the current total money supply M, and then the limit of money supply L equals to 2 power of 64 minus 1. In binary, it's 1111 with 64 bits. In the beginning of an arrow, the base block word was M less than 20. If M equals 0, then in decimal format. Some more numbers. These numbers are in atomic units. One atomic unit of Monero can't be divided. Clearly, atomic units are ridiculous. L is over 18 quintillion. We can divide everything by 10 to the power of 12 and move the decimal point over, giving us the standard units of Monero, aka XMR, Monero's so-called stock ticker. Some more math, and there it is, the very first block reward. Despise a pseudo-anonymous thankful for today, who was responsible for starting the Monero project in Monero's Genesis block, was about 17.6 Moneros. See Appendix C to confirm this for yourself. In this appendix, we show the structure of Monero Genesis block. The block has 0 transactions. It just sends the first block reward, thankful for today. Monero's founder did not add a timestamp, perhaps as a relic of Bitcoin. The coin Monero's code was forked from whose creators were apparently trying to hide a large pre-mine and may operate a shady network of cryptocurrency-related software and service. Block 1 was added, so the block of the timing stamp was 2014, 418, 1049.53 UTC, as reported by the block's miner. We can assume the Genesis block was created. Thankful for today. I wonder what the first Monero block reward was. The first Monero block, the Genesis block, had a reward of 160 XMR per 10 minutes at the time of launch in April of 2014, corresponding an initial high reward per 2-minute block. Monero did not have the fixed initial block reward like Bitcoin's 50 BTC. Instead, it used an admission curve to start with a high reward, which would generally decrease over time. So if you say you did, this would be kind of crazy, 160 XMR. Say you did 10 of those a year, 1,600 times 425. 20, I think. Let's do it times by 389. 622,400. Oh man, you'd have so much money. That'd be crazy. You'd have to be able to hold. You would have had to hold it and spend it. Say you did just like 100. Say you hit a block 10 times. That'd be crazy. You would have been. That would have been. I mean, you would have had to hold until then. I mean, it would be life-changing money, but it was about. Oh, and in Monero's Genesis block, it was about 17.6 Monero. Say like, even if that's true, if you had 10 of those, 170 Monero is still crazy. $66,130 still. It'd be nice to mine every new transaction into a block right away. What if someone submits a live transaction maliciously? The blockchain storing every transaction would quickly grow enormous. Bitwise shift right by n bits equivalent to integer divided by 2. Perhaps now it's a clear wide range of proofs is limited to transactions about 64 bits. Monero amounts are stored in the atomic unit format in the blockchain for an interesting comparison of Monero and Bitcoin's emissions. Wow, lots of math. Alright guys, an hour and 37 minutes of my time has been sunken into the internet. I appreciate everyone stopping by. Make sure to argue in the comments for the algorithm so